Hello again, I'm Chris. Welcome again to my reading corner. I want to try and make this a quicker video than the last one because I feel like I went off on a tangent in the last one, and this one's kind of like a Q&A and a weekend read. So we'll go through the Q&A first. So I've been asked by Bibliomania158, what do I do for a living? Well, I'm a revenue assistant in a sales ledger function in an electrical company, selling electricals, and I've been there 5 years in January. I basically prepare invoices and control key accounts, so quite a substantial amount of money sometimes, and chase any like age inquiries and stuff like that. Before that I worked at a fruit and veg place, also in finance, which I really enjoyed. I was there 11 years. Before that, I was just doing a bit of warehouse stuff before I got my job at my last place. I'm also studying CIMA, which is like Chartered Accountancy, which is I'm finding it hard. I've got 10 exams left to go. I did my AAT in my last role. I completed all that. Basically just me, desk, pens, notepads, calculator, hours of just hard graft, and I'm doing the same now. After this video that's exactly what I'll be doing once I get these uploaded. Is studying. I've got an exam on Wednesday. It's called P1. It's like management, accounting, budgeting, stuff like that. Cost, like absorption costing, and marginal costing, that sort of thing. And probably going over your head, but it's just how we cost things, whether you include the fixed cost or not. So yeah, that's what I do. Are there any booktubers that I watch? They've also asked. Or subscribe to their channel. There's quite a few booktubers. I mean, I've been watching booktube a lot longer than I've been participating, for want of a better word. But yeah, I mean, I like Steve Donahue. He's a very intelligent man, and I mean, nobody reads as much as he does, I don't think. I like Nick at Books Are Sick. I think he's really down to earth, and I also, I'm not sure how old he is, but I don't think he's. I think he's probably younger than me, but he must. Going off his music taste, he must be younger than me, because some of the bands he likes pass me by. So it's interesting hearing him talk about music, especially bands I've heard of but never really delved deep into them. Matt Wall, I've always liked Matt Wall. He's he got me into Bukowski, and he's got me into Quarry books and Mickey Spillane and all sorts of books, and I've watched him for a while as well. I also like Life on Books. I think they're really interesting to watch. They do a podcast together. I really like The Bookie's Dad as well. I'm not sure if it's called The Bookie's Dad, but I'll put it down below. He talks a bit about mental health as well, and I think his book taste is quite diverse, really. It's not just, he likes a bit of a mixture, and he's really interesting to watch. And like I say, when he talks about his mental health, it's hard to listen to, but it's so good to see that he's so open with it. And if you want somebody honest, then he's definitely very honest about it, and he's open about it, and he's also very I'm not sure what the word is, but like he's very there. I don't know what the word is I'm looking for, but he's like, if you message him, he reacts to it, he reads it. He's good, but he's new to me, and yeah, I'm glad I found him, to be honest with you, because I thought I was the only one talking about mental health on BookTube. I'm not saying I'm the only one, because that sounds a bit like, oh, look at me. But I mean, I feel like it's a taboo subject for men to talk about as it is. I mean, rather than from a male perspective, I don't think a lot of people talk about it, which is a shame, because we all suffer with mental health, I think, one form or another. Some more than most, and that's okay. You know, it's part of life. I think life is harder now than what it was. So yeah, that's what I'd say. Those four really. I mean, there's more than that. I mean, I do like Book Chat with Pat. You know, there's loads you watch, but I just, you know, when you're off the top of your dome, it's hard to remember. What are some other hobbies you enjoy besides reading? Well, I like music. Music's probably the second biggest thing I enjoy. I don't really tend to buy as much music these days as I used to when I was like buying vinyl. I've not really bought vinyl for a while, and then now I've got because I got a Mighty for my birthday now. I've got Spotify and I use that, so I don't really tend to. I just use that now. So music. Sorry, this question's by Faceless Book Reviews. I've just realised didn't say that. So yeah, so I like music. I like watching films, sometimes series, but not as much. I like reading about, like, I know it's reading, but I like watching like World War II documentaries and stuff like that. I like drawing. I'm trying to write more. I've got an idea for a novel in my head, and it's growing all the time. It was like a little. It's like I've kept it. It's kind of like just slightly growing along as it's growing, and it's like it's blossoming at the minute, and I'm letting it blossom in my head. And I've got it. The idea is set in stone, not set in stone, but the ideas are good. I feel like the idea stuck with me, and as it's growing, I feel like it's growing in the right way that it should grow. I like baking as well. I make a good lemon drizzle cake. I love cooking. Cooking's amazing. Yeah, I mean, I tried crocheting the other night. That didn't quite go down well. Through the crochet needle. I just wasn't in the mood. Not in the mood. I wasn't in a good place mentally. But yeah, I'm trying to get more creative. I want to start doing more drawing and drawing, writing, painting, and I also wouldn't mind collecting, like, not necessarily collecting, but like, you know, like planes that you build, or tanks, like World War II, vehicles and planes, building them. I'd like to start doing that. And then Dutch Bees asked, what are your favourite movies? My favourite movie's Lucky Number Slevin. I love that film, how it's, interconnected across every character's, like, you find out how intricate it is. I love Scent of a Woman. Pacino's Pacino's my favourite actor, so I love Scent of a Woman. I think it's brilliant. It's also got Philip Seymour Hoffman in it. Trying to think what else. Reservoir Dogs. I love Reservoir Dogs. Fight Club. So many I like. Matrix. Lord of the Rings. Star Wars as well, like the original ones, and I mean, and this, like, the Attack on the new, not the new ones, but the ones that I can't think what they're called. Attack of the Clones, that trilogy, because that came out when I was like getting into Star Wars, so that was cool. But then I also like things like Bad Boys, funny movies as well, like Austin Powers. I'm trying to think, like, horror as well. I try and watch a few horrors, like Final Destination, Saw, and Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and I like a mixture, and Die Hard and Lethal Weapon. I remember watching Die Hard with my uncle. I miss him as well as my grandma. So yeah, I remember watching Die Hard with him and stuff like that, and Rambo, but not so much Rambo. It was more Lethal Weapon, Die Hard. I remember like enjoying more. Yeah, Con Air as well, Face Off, classics like that, Pulp Fiction, Good God, Goodfellas and Godfather and Casino. I quite like the gangster films, Scarface, again Pacino, Heat. Yeah, quite a few different movies really I like. Now I'm going to go into a bit of like what I've read, weekend reads, and that sort of thing. So I finished 84 Charing Cross Road by Helen Hanff. This book I really enjoyed the letter part of it where she was corresponding to Frank Doyle in London. That was really like a. It was quite interesting because it wasn't just one person's narrative. It was two people. It was back and forth, and it was. She's very well written and very well spoken, and with a wit and charm in the letters and in the letters back and forth, as well as with other employees there and Frank's wife as well, which I really enjoyed the first bit, and then the second bit's more of a diary of when she actually does come to London and sightseeing and what she actually wants to see and why she wants to see things and how she's not really a Charles Dickens fan and things like that. And I enjoyed the book as a whole, but I think I would have been happily read the first part letters. If I were reading it again, I'd just read the first part. I've also finished Astro Chimp by David Walliams, which I was reading to my son Samuel. He really enjoyed that. It was a bit hard to read at bedtimes when you want like I need to study or I need to read myself. I need to read something with a bit more depth to it. But he enjoyed it, and I said how good was it, and he was like infinite. So I think he meant infinite, but I can't say it either. So so he enjoyed that. We had a laugh reading that, and it was great. Apart from when I'm trying to get him asleep, like I say. Also finished Hit Parade of Tears by Izumi Suzuki. Now, this was, I found, quite an eccentric collection of short stories, which every one of them was brilliant, but it was just quite an eclectic taste in short stories. I really enjoyed that. I'd like to read more by Izumi Suzuki. I finished Friday Night in Beast House by Richard Lehman. Again, I've just talked about Richard Lehman being a bit of a tricky author to read, and can understand why. It was okay. It was only 150 pages. It was only short, and it never really got going for me personally. But I enjoyed what I read of it, and I enjoy Richard Lehman is just basically switch off, don't think, just read, put down, forget about kind of thing. I'm not saying that people don't like Richard Lehman, people must do, but I just find it as switch your brain off entertainment. I also read Agua Viva by Clarice Lispector. This book I felt like was beautifully written, but there was no narrative or anything. It was just her random thoughts as she thought, oh, the colour of this pen's blue, or this hat's red, kind of thing. It was not saying it was that simplistic of thoughts, but it was just so random of thoughts. It's not a book I would read. It's a book I'd reread, but I'd dip my toe into it. Like, I wouldn't try and read it all in one go. I'd just read a few, because it's like split out in paragraphs, and there's like a line between each paragraph. So I would, for that, I'd probably like just read one or two paragraphs and put it down, and then pick it up again and read another couple of paragraphs. Cause I think that way, you'd pick more up on it. I finished Tales of Ordinary Madness by Charles Bukowski, which was just a short story collection by, Charles Bukowski. I know some people like Bukowski, some people don't. It's definitely a thing of opinion. But I enjoyed that. I read The Need by Helen Phillips. I enjoyed it, but it wasn't the kind of book I was expecting. It wasn't what I wanted from the book. Well, I say that. I enjoyed the book, but it wasn't the book I wanted it to be, which I don't think really is really fair on the author when I enjoyed the book. It was just, I felt like it was going to be a bit like, I don't know, I expected it to be more of a showdown at the end, and I expected it to be more like, a bit more, I expected it to be a bit more, I expected the book to be more like, there's an intruder in a house at the start, and I expected it to be more like, she does everything she can to protect her kids, but she's quite subservient, and then I expected more of a showdown at the end between the intruder and the mother of the two kids, and that just didn't happen. And I think I had a film in my head, and it wasn't that. The book is well written, the book is really good, I really enjoyed it, and I would recommend it, but I think I was looking for something different when I read it, or presumed it was something different when I read it, and I think, but it didn't stop me enjoying the book any. It just wasn't. It was like, oh, it's like that, rather than what it was like. But than what I expected to be, which is fine. And then I also finished Fever Dream by Samantha Schweblin. I'm not sure, Samantha Schweblin, which I enjoyed. I just couldn't put it down, but it was a lot of it was like a woman who's dying, and it goes through her. She's trying to retrace her steps with David, who's trying to help her, and tells her when things aren't important and when things are unimportant. And I just found it was a really interesting read, and it was only 150 pages, but I just couldn't put it down. It took me I would have probably finished it in one sitting if I didn't get tired, So I really enjoyed that. I'm going to quickly run through this. I'm currently reading Tell Me I'm Worthless by Alison Runfitt. It was between this and Our Wives Under the Sea, but then I heard about the Morrissey elements in this, and being a massive Smiths fan, not necessarily a Morrissey fan. I like his solo stuff, but I'm not necessarily a fan of him. But I love the Smiths, I always have, and I think my mate gave me a CD, I put my CD in, and then I heard this Charming Man, and it was just so tongue-in-cheek, that was it. So that's that, and I'm really enjoying it. I think I'm about 60 pages in at the minute, so I've got about 200 pages left, but I'm enjoying it. That'll probably be my main weekend read this weekend. I've decided to give audiobooks a go. I was looking for Project Hail Mary that I got suggested, but which is narrated by Andy Serkis, but I couldn't find that for some reason. I don't know whether it's on Audible. I'm not on Audible. Maybe that's something I'll look at in the future, but I ended up stumbling upon Ready Player One, which is read by Will Wheaton. Ready Player One is sort of a book I've read a few times, so I'm quite well versed. I'm not saying I know every word in it, but I have a good idea what's going on, and I'm really enjoying that. So that's mainly what I've been listening to. Although I usually listen to a chapter and then pause it and listen to some music, so I don't have to pause mid chapter. I'm currently working through Bukowski's from Matt Wall, started with his poetry. I'm reading South of No North. I've read 2 stories in this so far. I'm enjoying it so far. Again, I like Bukowski. I know he's not everyone's cup of tea. But yeah, I've read a story between finishing books, but I'll probably make it 2 or 3 to make sure I finish that alongside finishing the other books. I'm also still reading James the Giant Peach, so I'll probably carry on with that with Sam and finish that, which we can focus on now. We've finished Astro Chimp. I still want to carry on with The Cruel Sea. I did try and restart it last weekend and carry on with it, but I just wasn't getting into it, and then I picked up The Need, and I just flew through it, and so I'm going to try and pick that up again at some point. I also want to carry on The Essential Chomsky, because I want to try and get that finished by the end of the year. I could be cheeky and let it roll over, like read the majority of it and let it roll over and then put it on my 200 book challenge, but I think I might say, no, depending on how far I'm in the book, if I'm nearer the end of it, I don't think that counts, and if I'm like halfway, then maybe it does. I don't know. I realised I was trying to get to a few comic books and manga this year, like I wanted to read all of Sin City, and I've realised that I've got 2 left. I've got Hell and Back and then the short story collection, so I was like, well, I'll read that one this month, one next month, and then that finishes that off, and then it doesn't, because I've got other ideas for next year as well. So, and also I want to read Mouse as well this month, while it's still non-fiction November. And then for my next 2 novels, I don't want to pick a lot because I've got my exam on Wednesday. So I've picked Our Wives Under the Sea because it was between that and Tell Me I'm Worthless. And also I'm going to make sure, get back to The Cruel Sea. And also I want to read Tinkers by Paul Harding and reread No Longer Human by Osamu Dazai. So that's my plan, really, is those books. It's been a bit of a flyer, this well, I say flyer, it's 20 minutes long still, but I tried going through the last bit quite quickly because, like I said, I've got studying to do, so I'm going to just leave it here. But yeah, let me know if any of you have read anything below, any of the ones I've mentioned below, or if you've got any recommendations or anything, just any questions or anything down below, or you want to talk to me about what you liked about the books or anything, then that'd be great. I'll see you in the next one. Probably be after my exam now, my exam's Wednesday, so probably Wednesday, and then I'll probably not do a video until Saturday now. Saturday, because that's the first of the month, I believe. Sunday is the first of the month, I believe. Well, the first of the month is the next time I do a video, because I'll do a monthly TBR and plus what I've recently read as well. So I'll see you in the next one. Thanks very much for watching. Bye.